out. So today we're talking prenups and some other relationship stuff. But we'll start from the top. We'll start from the top. So prenups, I don't know, come on, you're a lawyer. What actually is the definition of a prenup?
This guy said I'm a lawyer. Right. Okay. So a prenup is basically like an agreement a couple enters into before they get married, and it kind of like outlines who owns what and like your obligations in if you have a divorce. So it's not enforceable in every country, but it's
Financial obligation.
yeah, financial obligation. So that's basically
Wait,
it.
Nagina,
So
you're a lawyer too, yeah?
Mm.
yep.
Yep.
That's a
Okay, oh
nice
shit.
assist right there, you know.
I Mad. Okay. So prenups, right? Are they necessary? Do they make sense? Would you get a prenup? Nagina, start us off. What you say?
Oh wow, straight into the deep end.
Yeah, now
Yep.
you're the guest. Please go first. Yeah.
Okay, so I have been actually thinking about this for the podcast, and I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of sitting on the fence. I agree, like there should be some sort of prenup, but then I'm like, should there really if you actually trust the other person? And because in essentially, if you are going to get married, you don't think that you're going to actually end up divorcing this person. But
Yes.
I feel like from a financial perspective, let me get my words out right. From a financial perspective, I think it lays like a bit of clarity and it stops, I think, feud in the future. Like if something
Yep.
does go wrong and you do end up having a divorce, I feel like it removes the bitterness that courts can bring. Because
Hmm.
would you want the courts to decide how they would split your financial assets? You'd rather do that beforehand, speak to your partner and be like, oh, this is mine, this is yours. If anything does happen in the future, we want to divide it like this. So it's a fair split, I feel like. And I think courts don't always, they wouldn't distribute the assets fairly, I think, and they'd always be bitter. And I feel like even after they're divorced, people they can still remain friends or whatever, but I think the
Hmm.
bitterness won't go.
Nah, they can't. They can't.
Nah, they can't
Uh,
because like in some instances they have kids together. So even if they're not friends, they have to at least be
yeah.
cordial, you know.
Okay,
hmm
so Nagina, would you get a prenup? When I'm
I mean,
assuming, yeah, maybe
I
yes,
mean,
no.
I do want to protect my money. Let's not get that wrong. But I
No
feel like
surprise there.
it can cause like trust issues as well because the other person will be like, oh, if you don't trust, if you don't trust me,
Mm-hmm.
like this, if you don't trust me, wait, let me get my words out. If you trust me, why would you want a prenup? Like you'd expect that the relationship would last what
True. Yeah.
lifelong,
Yeah.
or however long they stay alive for. But I feel like it can cause issues.
Nah, it's true. I mean, because Kamal said, I think it was the last couple of episodes, last episode, he said 50% of marriages end in divorce. Now, here's the
Yep.
thing is, I feel like it's 50% now, by the way, which is
I,
interesting.
I think it might be a bit more.
It
It's
might be
been, yeah,
more.
it's
Yeah,
even going up.
So that's the
it
thing.
has
And in
been
my
increasing.
opinion, by the way, Kamal, I know you said this last episode, half of those divorces, that 50%, half of that 50%, by the way, so these fucking kids, them kids. So let's just get
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
Fuck them
This guy
kids.
still has beef with these kids, bro.
Fuck them kids. But now I digress. Here's the thing. I feel like to protect your money is one thing, though. But I have a couple questions about that. My first question is: does the prenup only entail financial stuff? So, say for example, like I like slim girls, yeah. So, what if I put in
Oh
the
no, we're
prenup?
not doing this
Oh,
again,
okay,
bro. Oh,
okay.
for fuck's sake.
No, I'm
Hey,
just
go into it. Go
asking.
into it. Uh-huh,
Like from
uh-huh.
a legal perspective, like can I then add in the prenup, like, oh, because I like slim girls, like if she gets above a certain weight, in it, like it's not no? Is that like a thing?
Mm,
No,
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 I
that's not.
don't
That's
think
not the
so.
thing.
No, that's
That's
definitely
not.
not a valid clause in the
What?
prenup agreement. No.
Why not? I mean, okay, so it's just finances then. That's all it is.
Yeah,
This.
finances and yeah, basically financial assets. Yeah.
Mm, okay. Come on, what do you think? Would you get a prenup?
Yeah, this nigga, you have issues, bro.
What do you mean?
I mean, what if your wife gets pregnant and then obviously she's gonna gain weight
This
Obviously,
from that?
exact
that's
same thing I said.
different.
Exact same thing I
That's
told. Nah, bro. When you brought this up some episodes ago, and I said this exact same thing.
hey, you lot don't try
So,
flip it. Come at me, fam.
ew.
Nah, no, 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 no.
But yeah, prenups. Like honestly, for me, every time I see this thing in movies when they're about to get married and the prenup comes and this whole fight starts about how you don't trust me. Honestly, I don't. I've never understood it. I still don't understand it because for me, the law is not perfect, every country has their own law and they made it up in whatever way they wanted to make it up. And that law is what's gonna decide how you split up your assets if you get divorced. That and a judge who again may be stupid as shit. So for me, it makes more sense before you get married for you guys to come together and have an arrangement on how you want to split your assets in the case of a divorce. Because whilst you might say you want to stay together, and obviously everyone wants to stay together when they get married, you have to be realistic and know it's possible that you get divorced. And I don't feel like being realistic and this is going to be something we talk about in a later topic as well. I don't feel like being realistic in expectations is lack of trust. I feel like it's just knowing that, we might get divorced one day. We might have amicable differences that we can't resolve. And if that's the
But don't you
case,
feel like that creates like an escape path too? That's probably what like the
no,
money.
but not necessarily because so if you have problems in your marriage, so are you trying to tell me that because you have a prenup, you're more likely to get divorced? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what it suggests. I don't agree with that though.
But
But I
why
feel
though?
like that's because
So I
then you
guess
have an
for a guy, I can see that maybe.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, people who don't even have prenups end up in divorces, so I don't think that would be the highest
But they are
cause of
reluctant,
divorce
though.
anyway.
They are reluctant. Yeah, so
But it's
divorce
not
is
because of
always
the
going to
prenup.
be a thing. Well, yeah,
Like in
but
the
I
UK,
mean,
prenups aren't enforceable. So for the most part,
Yeah,
anyway, prenups aren't enforceable. So and you still have 50% divorce rate in the UK.
yeah.
So it's not
those
really
fucking
like
kids.
even if
Sorry, go on.
even if prenups make a difference and I'm sure there are instances where let's say a rich guy like was rich before he got married and then he starts having problems with his wife, so he's more likely to want to divorce because he knows his assets are protected. I can definitely see that in some cases, but it's such a small amount of cases that I don't think it makes a difference in the grand scale.
Right, but I mean, and I agree with you, but I feel like because okay, in this day and age, right? I mean, divorce is always going to be an option. Yeah, it's more difficult if you don't have a prenup because then the assets are split maybe unevenly or whatever it is, right? But then on the other hand, if you didn't have a prenup, I don't know, I just create this like subconscious vibe of like, you know what, like you're fucking up too much, I'm out. I know I can be out because I'm not going to lose that much. So if there's no prenup, you might now be like, oh, maybe I should just stick to this loveless marriage. That like look at Will Smith. I don't, I don't know if they have a prenup, but I mean, let's be honest, his wife don't love him. Everybody knows that. So
keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I don't think they have a prenup because it's gonna be half his shit or
But
half her shit.
she's rich as well, so I don't even
That is-
think like
Yeah.
it'd be a half and half thing in that kind of case.
And I don't think the money will even matter to him, to be fair. He was
Honestly,
actually
yeah.
in love.
They're
I think he
both
was
rich
in
as shit.
shock. Yeah.
I'm sure Rose is
Why?
going to tell us about how this thing is a lack of trust because I know Rose. Rose,
Rose, what do you
come in.
think, Ifa? What do you think?
Yeah, well, so so on the prenup level, personally, man, I don't believe in it. Like that's just me, man. Because
It's not a
Shocker.
belief system. It's just like
Shocker.
yeah, no. Obviously, it's not a belief system. Yeah, like people go into these agreements and then like uh, they are both aware of what they are doing. So it's not even a matter of belief system or anything. Well, I don't know, man. I still feel like, and I like something that Skills said. The fact that like, oh, they know that people know that they have this agreement, so they can always just decide that one day, man, this babe looks like the money which she done the racking is getting fat too. So let me just start messing up. So get that divorce and whew, big cash
Oh,
out,
that's actually
carry my guys, let's go and ball and all of that kind of stuff. So like at the end of the day, man, it can cause a level of complacency within the marriage because people now see it as okay, I can decide to do the bare minimum, but then there's always something that I can hold on to eventually if anything happens. I know people that get prenups for like correct reasons and everything, but personally, I don't subscribe to it because I believe that if I'm getting married to someone, I don't have any. I don't look forward to having any divorce reason. And yeah, you might see it and like, oh, there's always a possibility and all of that, but I am not exploring that possibility. So the prenup is not for me.
Rose, do you think that someone who is staying in a relationship because of financial or whatever, or potential financial loss, staying in a marriage, don't you feel like there's already a big issue there if that's why you're staying in this marriage?
Yeah, definitely. That's always an issue because at the end of the day, like you don't get married to someone. Well, I was going to say you don't get married to someone because of the money, but we all know that that's a lie in this current climate. But like speaking on like the original foundations of marriage, like nobody gets married to someone for financial status. And like I've mentioned on the pod several times, financial situations change. They continue to
Mhm,
change. You
mhm.
could be a billionaire today, tomorrow EFCC can come and freeze all your assets and then you have nothing. So like that's just the dynamism of life, guy.
Yeah,
So at the end of the day, if you are saying that you want to marry someone because of money, and then one day EFCC decides to bust them now, and they have taken everything, take all their assets completely, and you were busy looking back at how I'm going to cash out on that prenup. At the end of the day, you look at the situation and they're like you have nothing, you have
yeah.
absolutely nothing. So that's why I feel like it's not a reasonable. That's why like you shouldn't even base your marriage off of anything financial.
I
Personally,
mean,
if
I
you are
will say like,
marry someone because you love them and you see a future with them, a genuine future.
yeah.
I
So
disagree actually.
Yeah, I slightly
So
disagree.
you go first then. I'll come after.
I disagree because if we think of it from a practical perspective, okay, yes, you're getting married because you love the other person, but love alone cannot help you survive your marriage. Obviously, you need financial means, like what are you gonna eat, what are you gonna wear, where are you gonna go? Do you have a house to live in? Like, think about if you're planning on having children, do you have the finances to actually support them, bring them up? And I feel like without that clarity or without each other knowing like oh we have set finances to actually go ahead with our marriage, and I don't think it's possible to like just base it off on love. I mean,
wait,
Fine, man.
wait, Kamal, let me just add to that.
mhm,
So basically, I'm not saying that like love is the only thing that can
mhm,
sustain a relationship. There are different other factors as well,
mhm,
and money is very important. But what I'm emphasizing is that financial situations change. So at the
mhm,
beginning of the relationship, you guys might have a lot of money,
mhm.
but like when you hit rock bottom, are you saying that everything is bad now,
No,
so
no, no.
I'm just going to leave?
No, I don't think that's the
Like that's
case,
that's
but
like the angle I'm coming from.
uh-huh,
That's the angle I'm coming from. I'm not saying that like money is not important. Money is
yeah,
definitely very important because like you need to take care of your home, you need to
mhm,
send your kids to school, go on family trips and all
uh-huh,
of that. But what my point emphasizes on is the fact that like financial situations, they are not fixed.
yeah,
So because
the,
like there's a lot of money here today, there's no guarantee, like there's no security that I would say that okay, this money is going to be here tomorrow
yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
Mm.
So like in those situations, like I believe like those situations are quite defining when you look at any relationship as well. Because another example I like to relate it to is like the workplace. As much as like we all find jobs or places of work that we are passionate about, there will definitely be times when we will face a lot of issues and all. And think of it, is it every single time that you have an issue with a job that you just leave, or you pull through and like try to overcome such challenge? And don't get me wrong, yeah, there's some jobs that people do leave, but how many jobs can you leave? Like, is it every time that an issue comes up that you're just going to pack up your bags and leave, pack up your bags and leave, pack up your
Yeah,
bags and leave on a
I'm gonna leave,
continuous
bro.
basis?
Yes, facts. I'm gonna leave. Fuck them, nigga. Fuck you talking about?
And I'm not surprised, skills. I'm not
I'm
surprised.
out, nigga. I'm
Don't
out.
worry,
Don't
age
piss
43 is waiting for you.
I mean, finances is definitely a cause for divorce. Some people, if they don't have the money, they can't sustain.
Mhm.
Like, say you can't afford to live in a house anymore. I'll have arguments with your spouse. It's a bad environment for the kids. It does lead to divorce, having like financial hardships as well.
Mhm.
I guess.
Come on,
Yeah,
you were
well,
saying something before. Go on.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, well, first of all, I feel like we're overemphasizing how much of an impact prenups actually have on people just upping and leaving. I don't think it's nearly as great as we're trying to make it out to seem. But that's a different point. The only thing I was gonna say is I do have one issue with prenups though, and that's the fact that when you do get into a marriage and you have preset financial situations, a lot of your decisions when you do enter the marriage is gonna be based around your financial situation at the time, and then eventually how far you do go in your career or whatnot. So if you're making decisions based on, let's say you have 100, let me say 100,000 in the bank, or let's say 150 in the bank at the beginning of your marriage. So the things you will buy, the places you go, the career choices you will make, a lot of it revolves around how comfortable you are at the time. So now, if like your partner maybe isn't in a good financial situation in the same way you are, and your financial situation at the time affects her own decisions because she feels like you guys are one, like she's comfortable, you're in a marriage, so you're always going to be there to support her and the family. So maybe she doesn't pursue certain things or anything to that degree though that just influences her career path, and then you get divorced, and then your prenup already says that you're going to keep your assets that you had before the marriage. I feel like that then puts her at a disadvantage that she wouldn't have been in had she not been married to you. And if you did not have a prenup, she would then be entitled to, well, half your shit in most of the instances, but definitely a higher financial package than she would have been had you not had a prenup. So I do think in that instance, like prenups are a bit unfair.
But she
That's what I
didn't
was.
work for that money.
She didn't, but
Yeah.
her that money influenced her future decisions,
Hmm.
which I also think has to be taken into account.
I mean, if you think about it, sometimes in these sort of situations, like imagine the guy has more money, or even the girl, it can go either way.
Mhm.
And say, for example, the partner that you marry, they have like a bad spending habit, and you have joint accounts because you
Yeah,
don't have a prenup.
yeah.
Imagine she spends more than half your earnings or your wealth. I think it leads to a lot of debt as well. And
Yeah.
then you both can have arguments over that. And I think if you set the record straight before you get married, like that's your money, this is my money, I'll do what I want with my money, you do what you want. I
Facts.
think it
Facts.
creates more financial stability as well. You learn to use your money more wisely.
How do you guys feel about joint accounts?
No.
No.
Absolutely fucking no.
I don't mind having a
I
joint
knew Rose
account.
would have mind.
I
I
fucking
don't mind
mind,
it.
man. Nah. Why do we need to join our money together? Why? No. There's
Yeah.
literally no advantage.
Tomorrow you put money in it, the next day you look at it, it's zero.
It's
Your
gone.
wife's gone and spent
Yeah.
it all.
Like I don't want to spend her money. I feel like I'll owe
Yeah.
her. Like no, like nah.
Yeah, I have no use for a joint account either, so I'm just curious. But Rose, why don't you mind joint accounts? Well, I want to see what he says.
I don't think there's a big issue about it. If we're both saving up towards something, like why not? We can create a joint account.
Like a
Or even
joint
if we want to
savings
make like
account. That's different.
yeah, even if we want to
Okay.
make like financial decisions together that we like something we want to do together, I don't see any reason in it. I said I don't see any reason. I don't see any problem with it if we can both discuss about it and all of that. And like, okay, babe, we want to save towards getting this or getting that. Okay, let's put money together and all and save up. So like I don't see any issue with it. So
But Rose, what happens
and
when you
like
vex or when she vexes?
I also believe like it helps both couples to cultivate a bit of a saving habit as well. That's my personal belief. If you have a joint account, even if like personally, I just believe that like okay, if we have this account, we are saving towards something now. We know that every month we are putting this amount into it, so can always set a reminder that oh okay, babe, it's the end of the month. Remember, we're putting this amount into this account and all.
Nah.
And like even if guy relax,
Alright,
relax, you
go on.
can do whatever you want to do with your own money, guy.
Alright, go on.
Well, and like even if like my wife wants to come in and like take some of the money or do something and everything, like as long as we discuss about it, I don't see any reason why she can't. Because at the end of the day, it's our money. So there's no other person here that's sharing this money with us. It's ours. So like I don't. You see, the issue is that so many people go into marriages with this adverse relationship, especially when it comes to money. I know, and
Okay,
that's a
Rose. Sorry, let
reason
me
why.
ask you a question then. The
Rose is
money
an
that
idealist, bro.
the money
He's a
that
big
you make,
idealist.
the money that you make, Rose, is that your money
Yeah.
or both of you guys' money?
Personally, I
Just answer
base
the
my
question.
own marriage. Wait, first, wait. I'm building up to that. Relax first. I
Uh,
base
Let
my
him
own
land.
marriage
Let him land.
principles off. I base my own marriage principles off of Christianity.
Mhm.
So everything I do in terms of marriage, I'm doing it according to how the Bible says it. I should do it basically. So that's me. So
that's cool.
if the Bible does say that, like when a man leaves his wife, when a man leaves his house and joins with his wife and they become one, the money is ours.
So your money is you guys'
Yeah,
money.
yeah, my money is our
Oh
money.
fuck that, man! That's my bread.
And it's your
Fuck
bread
that.
now. That's how you can go ahead in your own marriage and do your bread. That's your
Yo.
problem,
You know
guy.
what's interesting? Like I agree with Rose, yeah, in the last sentiment he said, because like I said, I've said in the past episode before, even in Islam, it's the same thing. Like my money is our money, but that's the
No,
exact
it's
reason
not.
why I don't think we need a joint account. Like for that specific reason, like whatever you need, I'll give it to you. If you spend, I'll reimburse you. That's it. Like you don't need
What?
like we
Wait,
need a
what?
joint
If
account.
she spends, you reimburse her.
Yeah, that's how it goes,
The
isn't it?
fuck are you, a bank? What's going on here?
I'm a
I
hustler,
Yo,
bro.
agree with
That's how it
skills.
goes.
I
No,
that's
but
actually
not
the
how
thing
agree
it
with
is,
skills.
goes.
if we're
Thanks,
talking
Nagina. That's not how it
if
goes.
we're
That
talking Islamic perspective or Christianity, I don't know what you guys do, but from an Islamic perspective, that's how it goes anyway.
yeah,
No,
okay,
I
that
think
can be. Sorry, go
equality
on.
definitely comes in. I just
Exactly.
feel like it's not fair and it's not right, even morally. I don't feel like it's right. I feel like you both should contribute equally, and if you spend like a
Facts.
large amount of money, spend your own money. You don't expect it from the other person would reimburse you, kind of thing.
Literally.
Nah, I disagree with
That's
that.
that's why
No.
like that's why
I
like
disagree with
the
that.
dynamisms of relationships are different. So people might be doing what skills are saying and it works clearly for them. Like they might say,
Okay.
my money is my money, your money is your money. But then
Yes.
at the same time, what Kamal said, people might be doing it like, oh, babe, if you buy this, no problem. Tell me how much you spent, I'll reimburse it. It all depends on the individuals as well.
No, Rose,
So
and I'm
there's
not I'm not
no,
faulting that. I'm not faulting that. But what I'm saying, I understand everybody's situation is different. But what I'm saying is if you're trying to model it based on maybe how the Bible says or how it is in scripture, based on how they used to do it on those days, like that's cool. But again, I'm also here to like challenge the norm a bit of like why are we doing that solely because it says we should do that. That doesn't mean it works. I mean, so if that's the reason that a lot of people are doing it, I hope that's not why. So what, I'm just literally chilling at home. She goes to buy a bag. I'm chilling at home. She bought the bag. I have to pay her for the bag. Are you mad?
No. Listen, like there's things that she can buy with her own personal money, and that's fine. Like it's not
No,
really.
but you've
It's not
just
like
said what you.
every. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like everything you. But it's not like she starts with
yeah,
50K in the bank,
exactly.
and then every time she spends that 50K is never going down. That's not what it means. I mean like when it comes to like house things or like shared assets or whatever. Those are the kind
Yeah.
of things that Islamically anyway, the onus is on the guy to provide for that. And it also depends on what kind of household you grew up in. Like for me, that's how it works here. Like anything my mom spends on the house, like my dad pays it back, and it's been like that ever since I was born. So I've seen it, it works.
I
And I
feel like
also
you
don't
guys are
think
setting your wives up for failure.
Yeah, that's
why
enough
wait,
for
how
now.
so? How so?
Because you're basically promoting their spending habits, and say in the future you do end up having a divorce, like
Mhm.
what's she supposed to expect? Like there's going to be no one who's going to be taking care of her. How is she going to earn her own money if she's never experienced that with her
No, but she has her
husband?
money though. Like she probably work. Like she has her money. It's not
I
like she
mean,
doesn't have her money.
Oh, he's just saying like the things in the house that would
In
like
the
pertain
house,
to
like
both
house
of them.
oh,
items.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah,
house,
that
yeah, but
pertain to
then
both of
I
us.
think it's fair if you both equally pay for it. The financial burden shouldn't just be
Facts.
on one spouse.
That's fine if
Facts.
like some people want to operate that way. Like Rose said,
Yeah.
every like
I
marriage is
feel like it
different. Like
would
some
put
people
too
can
much
operate
strain
that.
on one person as well, just to
Nope,
carry all the burden as well.
nope,
Facts.
I mean,
not
you've seen it
necessarily.
work with your parents, but maybe it doesn't
Mhm.
work like that with
And
everyone.
that's what I said. Like it depends on
They're an exception.
everyone's
Yeah,
situation is
exactly.
different.
Like
No, it's not an exception. Not in
different
Nigeria
strokes,
anyway.
different folks.
In
Yeah.
Nigeria, it's definitely not an exception. Like that's definitely the norm here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, if people are entitled to,
Maybe
like,
if she's looking after your kids, like, and she actually has like 3, 4 kids, and she physically or doesn't have the time to go out and work and stuff like that, maybe then yeah, because she isn't earning an income, you're providing for her.
no, even if she's earning an income, like, honestly, it's not a big. Okay, so I feel like this comes down to how people view roles and obligations or duties in a marriage. I feel like every marriage has to have roles and obligations. It doesn't have to be the traditional, like a man provides and a woman cooks. It doesn't have to be that, but there definitely has to be some sort of roles or something laid out that people can follow and know what's expected of them in a marriage. I don't think anything can be equal. Like the idea of everything being equal, you cook today, I cook tomorrow, you clean today, I clean tomorrow, I spend today, I don't think that works.
Definitely. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
like,
honestly don't think that
people
works.
expect, like, let's say, like, in cultures or people that are quite backward still, and they follow
Mhm.
that sort of stuff, they'd expect, oh, my wife needs to cook, clean, do everything every single day without the man actually doing anything, because they're like, oh,
Mhm.
the man's like financially responsible for the house. I don't think that's fair either, because actually being a home, what do you call it, a housewife or a house husband is equally as hard as going out and working.
Yeah,
True. Yeah.
precisely that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and you
so that's
can't be your
why in
wife's
those
personal ATM machine.
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's why in those kind of relationships. So like you said, being a housewife or being in charge of the home is just as hard as going outside and making money. So that's why one person has one, the other person has the other. Like that's just kind of how it works. Just split equally. So everyone has their own obligations. So that's why I said it depends on what the couple wants to do, like what works for them. Because some people don't like cleaning, some people don't like cooking, some husbands like cooking. And I don't personally, I don't see myself in a household where I just don't cook, where I don't clean, where because like that's not what I want. Even though some people may think that's mad
I want
in
to be
Nigeria.
fed. I want to be
Yeah,
fed. I don't want to
you want
cook
to
all
be
the
fed.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the like I said, like because I like my food, so sometimes I want to cook. So I'll cook sometimes, she'll cook sometimes. But
But
honestly,
what if
I'm
she
not
don't like
going.
your food? Now you're just gonna cook for
Then
yourself?
that's
You know?
fine. If she doesn't like my food, then she'll cook her food in it. Like you don't have to eat my food. But yeah, like I planning for a marriage right now. I'm not planning for a marriage with the expectation that my wife is going to go 50-50 on bills. It's just not realistic in this country.
I am.
It's not. It's yeah.
Fuck that.
Yo, bro.
I
Yeah,
am.
yeah. I mean, if you're gonna stay in the US, maybe. But if you're coming back here,
Can I
boy,
ask a
you're gonna
question?
need to change that shit. Yeah,
Go on.
Does Rolls have a girlfriend?
Yeah,
yeah.
he does. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, no wonder his answers are so safe. I was wondering why he's playing it so safe.
Man has to be politically correct.
No, but that's how he is, though. That's how he is. Yeah, that's actually
No
how he
wonder.
is.
Now I understand your answers. They make
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's